father died in 1992.
Our father died in 1997.
My father died in 1996 and my mother died in 1997. I was 10 years old when my mother and father died.
I am 15 years old.
I am 10 years old.
I am 15 years old.
I am 12 years old.
This is the great untold tragedy of AIDS in Zimbabwe. As an entire generation of young adults is decimated, they are leaving behind a generation of children who must find some way to carry on.
Population of orphans are growing high and high every year, just because this disease is killing many.
At the moment as we speak, it is estimated we have more than 800,000 orphans in Zimbabwe. And quite recently, we've begun to see other siblings taking care of the other children. The youngest child I talked to was a 10-year-old girl who is looking after 4 other children. And they're living on their own in that home.
These orphans are living very hard time because they have no enough food to eat, no soap for washing their clothes. Some of them are not going to schools.
We are facing a generation of young children who have lost their childhood and have assumed adult responsibilities without any training.
This is Marvin Chiremba, his sister Venice, and his brother Enoch. Like so many other children, they are trying to make their way on their own, part of a generation being left orphaned by AIDS.
When my father died, I now became the head of the family. We grow crops and vegetable, and we go to school. It is difficult to look after ourselves than when our parents is still alive. When I am cooking, Venice must sweeping the house, Enoch must heading goats. When I am going to sell vegetable, Venice must go to collect firewood. Enoch must go to fetch water. Sometimes we did not buy sugar to drink tea, and sometimes we did not buy cooking oil to put in vegetables. When I am thinking of my parents, sometimes I cry because we did not have anyone who looks to us.
You don't have to go far to hear the story over and over again. At homestead after homestead, parents are dead or dying, and children struggle to keep their families together.
When my mother and father died, my younger brother was afraid. He was afraid of having no one to look after him. I told him not to be afraid because we shall try to keep ourselves. I make breakfast some days, but the others days he goes to school without breakfast because we don't have enough breakfast for every day. It makes me sad because my younger brother goes to school without breakfast and he feels hungry.
The phrase, "it takes a whole village to raise a child," was born in Africa. 10 years ago, these children would have been taken in by a relative, a neighbor, a friend. But AIDS has turned Zimbabwe upside down. 1 in 3 Zimbabweans is infected with HIV. Nearly all will develop AIDS and die. This is Grandi Tanda. She's lost her 2 sons, her sons' wives, her daughter, and her daughter's husband to the AIDS pandemic. With no money, she struggles to feed 8 of her grandchildren. Her 18-year-old grandson, Tefadzwa, left his job as a laborer and returned to his grandmother's house.
My feelings tells me to go back again to help my grandmother, because my grandmother have got many children, so I come back to help her.
On his own, Tefadzwa can make enough money to live and even save a little to go to school. But where his grandmother lives, there's only day work. He can't even earn enough to feed his sister and cousins.
I feel angry because we are many children needs care from grandmother. I need to live better than this.
The community is not indifferent to the plight of these thousands of children struggling to make it on their own. Across the country, a growing army of women is dedicated to seeing that Zimbabwe's orphaned generation does not become Zimbabwe's lost generation.
We go to visit door to door and write their age, health, and what are some of the shortages they've got. I only even take my own food from my house and go and give the orphans. We teach them to cook salsa, to cook tea, to sweep in their houses. If I see them sick, I take them to the clinic.
But as the number of children in desperate need grows, it has rapidly outstripped the resources of these grassroots organizations.
Because we are finding on average one woman can have 15 families, and each family could have an average of about 4 children.
Because the orphans are so many, we can't even count how much the number. We don't have enough to give them. That is the most important issue, which is troubling us day and night.
The enormity of the crisis is overwhelming. In the year 2000 alone, AIDS will kill 250,000 mothers and fathers and leave behind over 1 million orphans. Yet somehow these women find the strength to go on.
They base their faith in James 1 verse 27, which says true religion is looking after widows and orphans in their distress. So to them, these are children they have adopted in their hearts. To them, these are their children.
If they see us, they are very happy. They see as if they are seeing their mothers.
Loveness is not like my mother because she is telling me to work hard for my younger brother and to protect myself. When we talk with the Loveness, she teaches me and also we laugh.
Laughter. For all the things Zimbabwe is desperately short of, laughter isn't one of them. In spite of the death and the dying, in spite of the pain and the suffering, the people of Zimbabwe haven't given up hope. They still count their blessings, they still believe in their future, and they trust that in God's infinite grace, wisdom, and mercy, there will be better times ahead.
When I pray to God, I ask Him to help me of taking care of my younger brother.
I ask God to give me power to go to school.
I ask God to help me and to look for the family. I also ask Him to look for me even for the future. I pray for the future.
I want to be a mechanic.
I want to be an accountant.
I want to be a driver.
I want to be a doctor.
My name is Gibson.
My name is Janet. My name is Yokai.
My name is Divine.
My name is Musan Chirimumima.
My name is Tafadzwa Tanda.
My name is Chidogowero.
What is community? It's people living in the same area with common interest. What is community?